better. He got more singles than the mainstream record seller, trying to make another buck while y'all getting paid off degrees. Niggas out here getting paid off for luck, sticking niggas up, holding a clock handle, blowing in their hand like a lit up Roman candle. This is something I was forced in. I can't help it, my thoughts is so deep. It's something I could get lost in. Rap is not easy, it take years of endorsing. A quick hit without development is just a portion. I go ham on these tracks, and these niggas got arms but no hands is attached.
I'm not sure. I think he's from Brooklyn. His name is Simple Son. He sent me this track. I want y'all to listen to it for a second. Bang it for a minute, baby Teen Wolf.
I know it's more to life than getting high and drinking liquor. I know it's more to life than scheming and plotting. I know it's more to life than selling and
I don't know where you can find it, but you might want to support this kid. I liked it.
I know it's more to life than bitches you can't trust.
Ladies and gentlemen, TradioV, Zoe Williams back in the building. The So What Morning Show on TradioV. That's Radio NTV. You know how we do. Another day, another topic. Mondays, we got to kick it off right. But before I get into the topic, it's community empowerment. You know how we do. We seek to empower the community. How do I do that? I feature books and I feature businesses, right? So let's get into the books. Listen, hey, this is a call to action. Go to IamZoeWilliams.com and purchase my book, The Rebirth of Seeds. I need you to do that right now. I am Zoe Williams. I will autograph it for you. Holler at me right now. It's very, very, very important that you continue to support the movement, because that's what this is about. I look at this segment of the show as real tithing. When black people are sowing seeds into black businesses, thus recycling our dollars, that's real tithing. I'm not disrespecting church. I know churches do a lot of community outreach. They pay Big Mama's rent. You know, they deliver Thanksgiving dinners to a lot of folk, and I know they doing work. But imagine what kind of power we would be able to keep in our community if we were tithing by paying into black businesses. Now we're in another space. I want us to be in another space, right? So that's this community empowerment segment. Go to my page, IamZoeWilliams.com. Get a copy of The Rebirth of Seeds. I promise I will autograph that for you. Hey, Bobby Glanton-Smith, Real Men Don't Play. I heard he got a couple of book sales last week from the show. Hey, continue to empower and embolden and support this brother's movement. There is wisdom in these pages. Please support it. RealMenDon'tPlay.com. Go there right now. RealMenDon'tPlay.com. Support the movement. Let's keep it pushing. Bobby gave me another book, Return to Glory, The Story of the Cleveland Browns by Bill Levy. Bobby has an extensive library. Please, go read, study, understand the psyche of what made black men great back in the day. Right? Come on now. During this time, there was racism. There was all types of things going on. And Jim Brown was a monolith of strength. Y'all got to check this out. Don't play yourself. Participate in the movement. Also, It's All Gravy. Just Listen by Dr. Mark Goulston. We're going to start calling Dr. Mark Goulston the intellectual irritant too, because he likes to jab and poke people from very psychological and thoughtful angles. I love it. Go support it. It's a great book. Just listen. As a matter of fact, one of our fans who works right down the street hit me on Facebook and said, hey, meet me outside of your job. I want you to support one of my get downs. I said, for sure. He brought me these shirts, these hats called Brilliance, right? He's got like some type of movie he's trying to put together, something like that. I said, for sure. I support what you're doing. He said, here's a couple of hats. Support the brother at IamBruceStevens.com. The Brilliance caps. I was like, all right, for sure. I'll support what you're doing, for sure. Let's keep it pushing. Ramo Mart. Go to Ramo Mart, man. This dude right here, watch this video. Look at these designs, man. These shirts are so awesome. They so fire, man. Y'all have no idea. When I come in here in a couple of weeks in a fully tailored suit from this brother, you're going to understand just how talented this dude is. Please continue to support. Go out, get the boy's products. He's off the charts. The next movement. Oh, I still got books, especially pertaining to the topic. Men on Strike is a book you should get. Helen Smith, author Helen Smith. Men on Strike, Why Men Are Boycotting Marriage, Fatherhood, and the American Dream, and Why It Matters. Uh-oh, that's in alignment with our topic today. Another book by Warren Farrell, PhD, and then it's an international bestseller. The Myth of Male Power. Listen to that. The Myth of Male Power. Now, Farrell debunks the myth of male power. He dares to question the image of men as the oppressor, arguing that this misconception has hindered not only men, but women as well. The Myth of Male Power. Go support that work as well. Here's another book by a sister, Esther Vilar, V-I-L-A-R, Esther Vilar, The Manipulated Man. Now, this is a cold work. I ain't even going to tell you about it. Somebody hit me to this. This is a very cold work, and it's in alignment with what we're doing. Really quickly, the 8-week Black Mastery Reloaded situation you need to participate in with Veronica Conway. You need to go do it right now. Go sign up at veronicaconway.com. Check it out. 8 weeks, her and I, breaking down your business fears. You don't want to write fear into your business plan and expect to be successful. It's just not going to work. She is a master transformational coach. And what's crazy is she's on the phone right now. Veronica, tell them why you should do this.
Zo.
Tell them why they should do
How
it.
you doing?
I'm good.
Hey, everybody. Oh, man. So the reason people should do this is, I've talked to a lot of folks that have signed up for the Black Mastery Program, and what I really got was that people were hungering to move from entrepreneurship to entrepreneurship. But that takes a few things, because the skills that you have as an employee are not transferable to entrepreneurship. So I talked to a lot of folks that think that they can take what they do in their job and transfer it to a business, and it's a totally different mindset. The other piece is that most people have a business model and not a business model. And to be profitable and to have your business not be an expensive hobby, which I see a lot of our brothers and sisters doing. I peel back the numbers, and there's no money in the game. So we're going to break down all of the things that move people from entrepreneurship into entrepreneurship. And like you said, Zoe, if we're really going to get down with the black group economics, we have to be
Prepared.
viable, powerful business owners.
So give me 2 reasons why somebody should email you right now and sign up to our business boot camp, our 8-week boot camp. Give me 2 reasons why they should do it right now. Go.
You cannot pass your job down to your children as a financial legacy.
Wow.
And if we want any autonomy and independence in this capitalist society, we better figure out the game.
Wow, you cannot pass your job down to your kids. That right there is cold enough. Veronica at veronicaconway.com is the email address. Sign up. And then the next thing I want you to talk about really quickly, Veronica, 30 seconds. Tell them why it's important they should get Black Mastery, the neuro-linguistic program you put together that is hosted by the venerable Iyanla Van Zandt. Why should they get that right now? Let's go.
I've talked to so many people that have gotten the Black Mastery Program. They said it's not worth $200. It's worth $2,000 or more. It has changed their life. It's changed their inner conversation, that inner dialogue that keeps you stuck and arguing and not moving forward. People have changed their habits, changed their activities, changed their vision. They're moving forward with big stuff. So if you want to shut down all that back of mind noise that's in your head, that committee, then get Black Mastery so that you can be freed up to move forward.
And let me just tell you this about Veronica. She won't say it herself. I made my son listen to the Black Mastery NLP program. And it's changed his whole get down, too. because he's a fiery kid. You know, you know my son, you know him too. You know, he's a fiery dude, right? So I got him listening to the NLP program, and I'm telling you, I sense a shift in him maturity-wise. He now sees himself as a business, right? It's like, wait a minute, I can't just post this on Twitter. I just can't post this on Instagram. People are watching me. I got to make the right decisions. I got classes to make up. I got to take care of business. You know, he's now looking differently. So I'm saying, hey, Black Mastery is giving him this kind of base, whereas talking to him consciously was, you know how kids get, you know this very well. At a certain point, they start tuning dad and mom out. So I gave him the Black Mastery, and it's working for him right now. I appreciate you, Veronica. We got to run.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill. Really
quickly, I got to run through these businesses. Urban Teas, urbanroyalties.com. Go see these folk, urbanroyalties.com. They sent me this shirt. They sent me a couple of shirts. I said, hey, I'll represent your business. Just send me a T-shirt. I'll wear it for free. urbanroyalties.com. Support them. Hip Loose, hiploose.com. Again, they put me in a fully cold suit, tailored. Everything was ice. Hey, support this black business right here. That's the only way we're going to take our community back. Watch when I do. Listen, I got a show coming called Nigga Knowledge. When we talk about owning your own education, that's a whole nother dance. But the only way to do that, we got to recycle the dollars. How you going to own your own education? You ain't got bread. How about it? Support Hip Loose, right? Oh, wait a minute. We got to show the Dr. Umar clip. Give us a little piece of the Dr. Umar clip. I'm going quick right now.
My name is Dr. Umar Johnson, and I am a school psychologist and doctor of clinical psychology. In addition to that, I hold degrees in political science and education. I am here at the historic St. Paul's College. This beautiful campus, 135 acres of which I hope to make the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey RBG, International Leadership Academy for African Children. This college, St. Paul's, was opened on September the 24th.
Now, I'm cutting it short. This is a 5-minute video. This brother is taking over the St. Paul's College. He needs donations. Go to drumarjohnson.com, find the link to this project. He's trying to raise $5 million. Again, ownership of education. Ownership of education. Do you know how powerful that is? Right? When your degree is not validated by a white supremacist system, that might be a terrorist act. I'm just saying, $1.1 trillion annually that we spend as consumers, but we don't own nothing. If you don't go support something like that, you're out of your mind. We'll never get out of this barrel, crabs. We'll never make it out. That's all I'm saying. Support, support, support. Now, I got to take a quick break. I think I covered everybody. AriseHospitality.com. Jesus, I got businesses to support. AriseHospitality.com. The Black Office Max. Support them. Now I got to take a break. When I come back, topics, guests, it's going to get crazy up in here. Show that Black Mastery NLP program. Let's go.
And one of the greatest tragedies in life is getting to the end of your life and looking back and realizing it was mediocre and it didn't have to be that way.
The number one reason is people are unwilling to listen and care about what's important to the other person.
But what if you could be someone who dared to care about everybody in your life? When you're in love, smoke gets in your eyes. But when you're anxious, you talk more than you listen. I asked my wife a month ago, I said, I don't know whether to have an affair or buy a motorcycle. And she said, if you have an affair, I'll kill you. If you get the motorcycle, you'll kill yourself. Go with the bike.
You know, years ago, I used to be an expert in helping divorced couples get back together again. I didn't seek them out. They sought me out, and I was on, Oprah, Today Show, New York Times, and then I kind of veered away from that. But years later, I did something called divorce therapy about kids. And I don't do that anymore, but if you look up divorce therapy, my last name, Goulston, Goulston, you'll find something at divorce.com. And basically what it is couples would come in, and I'd say, look, the marriage is over. I'm not here figuring out who was right and who was wrong. All I care about is that at age 18, your child looks like child B and not child A. Child A is someone who quits, bails, blames, takes everything too personally, doesn't hang in there, and they're not going to hit the ground running. They're going to hit the ground running away. And child B has the opposite. They don't bail. They take life seriously. They don't take themselves too seriously. They're passionate. They have stick-to-itness. And they're going to hit the ground, and they're going to be successful. So what I would say to couples is, I don't care about anything other than you each need to make a case to me about how what you're doing is going to produce child B and not child A. It's pretty simple. And if you go to if you see that article, divorce.com, or look up divorce therapy, Goulston, that'll be one of the first links. And just make sure that you care more about your children than you care about being right.
Wow. That's and with that said, as Dr. G always does, he alley-oops the topic for today. Today's topic, the collateral damage of modern-day marriage, divorce, and family building. A penetrating look into custody wars, financial wars, sexless nights, and family wars. What does that mean? I've got questions. Is it nearly impossible to pick someone to be in love with / married to for the rest of your life? Is it easier to win the lottery?
Mama said, bring your own.
Right. Hey.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
We go through this every week.
Hey.
My mama said for him, bring his own paper to school.
Right. What do you stand to lose? Listen to this question. What do you stand to lose simply by getting married and starting a family in today's modern society? What do you stand to lose potentially, right? Does the family court system and its judges still see women primarily as victimized dependents while seeing men as villainous providers? 855-878-4652 is the number to dial. TradioV, that's radio and TV. So what mornings? Questions. Why is it that to some couples, death is probably better than divorce? A lot of people view divorce as a death. You stand to lose a lot. The number one indicator of poverty in America is divorce. The number one indicator of wealth in America is marriage. This is real business. Wait a minute. Why is the family court system a $50 billion a year industry? Why do family court judges have all the power? There's no jury. That's the final say in the system. And if they're corrupt, is the entire system corrupt? Who stands to win in a custody battle? And who stands to lose the most? Somebody call us. This is going to be crazy today, man. What is the difference between a court of law and a court of equity? Huh? This is business, man. This is a cold situation. And a lot of people are being taken advantage of, right? Hey, I got more questions. Do prenups actually work? Do they work or no? Right? A lot of people are now finding out that prenups don't actually work. People are still getting bread after signing prenups. Right? How did that damn marriage to Khloe Kardashian, right, benefit Lamar Odom? He can't even get in a club with her and her new boyfriend, but he still got to provide Laker tickets to her and her family as per the divorce agreement. Front row seat Laker tickets. He don't even play ball in the NBA no more.
Yeah, he couldn't even give it a sweep.
He can't. Damn. It's a bad situation. Is marriage a bad deal for men in modern day society? Do men stand to lose more than women? Somebody better talk to me right now. 855-878-4652. I still got questions. That's enough for now. Let me introduce the august panel.
August.
To my left, This dude is an entertainer. A lot of people didn't know. Well, we got glimpses of it when we saw him on Family Matters. Every now and again, it was a special episode where he'll start singing, right? Every now and again, you know. But for the most part, we thought it was Eddie Winslow. Just Eddie Winslow is Laura's big brother. That's just how it goes down, right? Then one episode, the brother starts singing. We said, okay, there's something else there. There's something else there, right? Then we started understanding what was happening. I first worked with the brother on the Foxhole, and he came in and clowned something horrible, right? He came in and clowned. He's on the show today. Without further ado, actor, entertainer, musician, philanthropist, entrepreneur. This dude covers the gamut when it comes to entertainment. Darius McCrary is in the building right now, man. Welcome to the show.
Hey, y'all. How's it going? What's happening, Zoe?
He gonna tell us his story. It's gonna be a cold situation up in this piece. Now, on to the homie. Me and this dude fight. We get at it. We done fought on the basketball court. We done fought on the air.
Oh, that's not me.
No, it's definitely not you.
Basketball.
One of the big homies is in the building. Louis Dix, legendary comedian, in the building. You better know it's going down. What's happening, Louis?
Yeah. It's exciting here. It's funny you talked about your son having fire. Where did he get it from?
He got it from his daddy. I set him on fire, man. You know what it is. Poet, author, lecturer, educator, teacher, motivator, life coach, thought leader, young gun.
Ready for the world hairdo have it.
Listen, Ise Lyfe is in the building.
Nice.
He's going to offer insight. And now, the other homie in the building. I met him on, it was Corey Holcomb's 5150 show on the Foxhole. He's been fighting this war for a long time. Yes, he's a comedian. I seen him do his work. He cold, he's sharp, he's a veteran in the game. He hosts his own little get down. I saw you doing your thing. This brother has a hella story to tell because he's in hell right now fighting the devil right now. We want to introduce him. He's a comedian. I've already told you that. Evan Lionel. Welcome to the show, man. Say what's up to the folks.
What's up, y'all, and thanks for having me, Zoe.
Absolutely. You already know Dr. G and Jeff Brown. They're in the building. They ready to do this. Marriage, is it a bad deal for men? What are the potential side effects? What is the potential collateral damage we might experience just by trying to build a family? Somebody talk to me right now. Jeff wants to say it.
Well, besides being relegated to one vagina, could you point up the upside? I mean, besides that, where is the American upside to marriage? And two, let me put it this way, okay, if me and my wife today, if it don't work out 5-10 years from now when I plan to have some bread, I'm good. I'm gonna break bread with her. However, she deserves it because she in the trenches with me.
Right.
If some heifer roll up on me with $50 million, a hitman is cheaper. I'm saying it right now. 2 words:
Jeff
break failure.
Wow.
Straight up. Your ass I will go to the Galazzo brothers with 50 grand. And your ass will be on a milk cart. Straight up. I will not give you.
Dr. G, and then I'm coming to Darius. Why are some divorces, why do they last longer than some marriages?
Because people have more trouble letting go of anger than they do holding on to love.
Ooh. Wow.
And some people will hold on to anger for a lifetime, and what we call those people is bitter. Don't become one. Don't hang out with them.
Darius, what's your story, man? Talk to them about it.
Well, I'm going to say this first off. I don't feel that marriage is a horrible thing. What I find difficult is that sometimes there are relationships that take place that there was never any intent for it to go past 1 or 2 nights. And the sad thing is when the court system protects and shields these women with the same protection that they would give to a woman who gave her entire life to a man and left. They treat these women as if they were ever even considered a potential wife or a potential life mate.
Just a matrimonious booty call, if you will.
That's what it is. And that's one of the problems that I've been married 3 times. And none of my 3 marriages cost me what my paternity suit with the mother of my child has cost me.
Damn.
Speak to that. Speak to that. What's going on? If you can.
I mean, what I really do believe is that these judges, they do have an agenda, and the agenda has nothing absolutely to do with family. If you look at what's happening right now in our communities, basically all around us in entertainment, so goeth the family, so goeth the town, so goeth the town, so goeth the city, so goeth the city, so goeth the state to the nation, and it reverberates all the way around the world. Right now there is a division that is being caused, and there's an agenda that's far beyond anything that we can comprehend, and it's impossible to fight the enemy if you don't know who the enemy is. Right now, these lawyers and these judges are all in an incestuous situation, especially in some states in particular. I'm not going to call any names. Oakland County, Michigan, I'm not going to call any names, but I will say that let me ask you this. If an opposing counsel were to run into you on the street or in a public place and speak to you about your case, should that case be considered a mistrial? Should it? If an opposing counsel saw you, that case should be done. You're not supposed to speak to opposing counsel in a public place outside of the. If you have an attorney.
Hey, Darius.
You can.
Hey, I love your work, buddy. Can I get your autograph?
Well, no. It's more like. Hey, don't take this personal. It's business.
Oh, wow. It's business, Tommy.
If you have an attorney,
he was in violation
of his code of ethics with the California State Bar.
Hold on, brothers. We all mad, but we got to take a break. We got to take a break. We got to go to break. Go to break. We can come back. We can finish how the courts ain't shit, because they ain't shit.
When we come back.
When we come back.
So, Evan, hold that. We're taking a break. We'll be back at 2.2 to finish that thought. Wow.
When you file for divorce, you'll be shocked to find out how little your prenuptial agreement actually does.
I, as an individual, do not believe in prenuptial agreements. We prepare them all the time. We represent people who are engaged in negotiating them all the time. It's part of what we do. But personally, I don't believe in them. The existence of a prenuptial agreement starts the marriage out in a bad light. It's a marriage that's starting out with one of the parties saying to the other, you know, I really love you, but I don't trust you, so I want you to sign something that says this is what's mine or this is what's yours.
You go get a prenup and you think everything's great. Well, you better make sure you know exactly what you're doing, because the big game now is who can bust the prenup.
We drew up a prenuptial agreement. I had it reviewed by an attorney. It was rock solid. How could they be entitled to look at my financials?
You can't dictate in your premarital agreement the amount of child support, and you can't dictate who will have the children.
Custody will always be something that could be modified. So you could resolve the entire case, and then 2 years later somebody could come back and say, custodial schedule is not working, and there needs to be a change.
The divorce process in the United States can be so complicated that even the best contracts can't stand up against the court system. To learn more shocking truths, see Divorce Corp the movie, coming to theaters this January. What do you think about divorce?
Wow, Divorce Corp the movie. This is an industry, y'all. I keep telling y'all, marriage is a social construct. It's a business. It's a contract. This ain't about love and matrimony. The spiritual side of that shit done went away a long time ago, right? 50%, and listen, it's not just an American epidemic. 50% of all marriages across the globe, not just America, end in divorce. It's a bad deal. And as long as the court system has an archaic view of women, men are going to be the villains and the providers, and women are going to be the victims and the dependents, regardless of how rich they are. The goddamn Kardashians is balling. They really don't need any basketball player money. But those contracts, those relationship marriage agreements are set up for them to win even after divorce.
You better watch yourself.
And listen, that's the thing that kills me about certain brothers. How you get with a woman who is acting absolutely evil towards the dude before you.
Damn.
And you expect, just because it's all good and gravy with y'all right now, that she ain't gonna change? She She's showing you who she is when she get crossed.
Damn the evil part.
Right?
I got an issue with 12 million people having access to my wife's cooter. Okay?
What do you mean, Jeff?
Dude, I'm not. If you made a sex tape, that's a wrap.
I didn't know your wife had a sex tape.
No, she don't. She don't. Don't make me elbow you in the throat, because we'll be in court. You'll sue me, but your
That's
throat will
Shawn
be fucked up by then.
Collison, the divorce doctor. He's in the building. This is his business. Child support. We already know it's a monstrous business and industry, but it's just a small portion of family court. Louis Dix is in the building. Louis, talk to me, man, about marriage. I know you've been through hell, Louis.
No, I was married for 192 months. So, you know, it's first thing is...
All three of my marriages equal about 100.
Okay, so after 16 years, I have to first say, and it probably bothers some of the brothers, first thing, your foundation has to be love. All right?
Yeah,
and if you're not a man going into the marriage, first thing you should have a conversation with the woman about what kind of family you want to start, even if it doesn't work out. Now, my ex-wife and I, we still have dinner with the kids. We still make sure things are functioning because that was our priority up front. Now, certain things you're going to lose. The contract is never set up for you to win. That's why it's a contract. So you're not going to win when you sign a contract. But basically, if your foundation as a man is love and you establish that in the home, no matter what the wife goes through, because women are shoppers. They always want to upgrade and improve.
Women be shopping.
So you as a man have to establish what kind of foundation you want in your home for your kids to follow and what kind of man you are. Even if you're walking through hell, you can walk through hell like a man. All right?
But Louis, not to cut you off, but part of the problem is society. Part of the problem is these rap videos.
Right, I understand
music,
that, but that rap video, that still is not who you are.
No, I'm talking about these women.
Okay,
with
fine. The
media.
women can go through anything, but the bottom line is when she's sitting in the room by herself, she's still going to reflect who you are, what kind of man you are, how you establish your home, how you walking down. Even if 10 other men go through your home that you've left, it's still your footprints in that home.
But I like to speak to what Darius is saying because there's this piece around. I think a lot of times women. Well, first of all, in this process that, and I heard you mention it earlier, that it's really the state just profiting off all of it. And so there's a demonizing of the men, there's a demonizing of the women. I want to speak to the young men though. Young women and women period are curbed socially by a whole stigma, whereas young men we're encouraged to just conquest and conquer. So in that, when I listen to brothers who are having these issues in their relationships or in court, a lot of times they're a little flagrant with their penis. And in that, but it's based on, and that's not a judgment. But as a young person, as young men, we're not told. Women are told, be careful who you with. Be careful who you with. Right. Don't just do it. But dudes are told, whoever. And just get it, and not dealing with the consequences.
I'm going to build on something that Louis said. I want to see what you think about this. When I used to work on cancer wards, we used to have this saying, hope for the best, plan for the worst. And so when you're getting into a relationship, if you know that there will be conflicts over money, there will be conflicts over how many children, how to raise the children, there will be conflicts over how do you deal with setbacks. Is the guy not going to go look for a job because he got his rear end fired? I think if you can think of these common, they're not rocket science conflicts that are going to happen, and you say, how are we going to deal with them? What about status? You can come up with 10 or 12 things that tend to break up relationships, and if you just have that conversation ahead of time, as opposed to having smoke get in your eyes, what do you think?
But see, that's easy to deal with when you go into a situation and you're planning to have a family. What about the justice system that is shielding these women that are looking at men as targets and using the same rules?
Hold on, Louis.
You can't undermine that point now.
No, I'm not. And look, and there are women that are professionals at getting married to snatch the loot.
But that goes back to you as a man. If you getting with a woman who doesn't have a father, all right, and the mother's a lesbian, then you know what you're dealing with, and none of the men in the home have any respect.
That wasn't my baby mama. She came from a two-parent home, and the parents are still married. And the parents funded the situation that Did
you ever sit down and talk to the father, though?
I've tried to.
That's what I'm saying. You tried to in the beginning before you got married to her. Did you sit down and talk to him?
Hey, Evan,
okay, maybe I
It's your jacket, man. It's your jacket.
Tell them your story.
Well, as Louis said, I am, number one, a man, and I live by honor all my life. I'm from the south side of Chicago. I live by honor always. My ex and I discussed raising children. We discussed building a life together. Fast forward to today, that same woman that I discussed all of those things with is now doing everything in her power to keep me from my children, my three beautiful children.
What is she doing
that I
exactly?
love. She has hired a crooked, unethical attorney who will lie, who will do anything he can to keep me from my three beautiful babies. I don't think
maybe
Shawn,
he doesn't care about. Maybe it's not that personal for him. Lawyers, and Shawn Collison can speak to that.
Okay.
Lawyers are fucking trained to win. That's why they're bringing in mediators.
But hold on for a sec, Darius. Hold on for a second. Let me say this. These lawyers, the game now is a restraining order. I had no idea about that game. I was asleep to that. I'm thinking I'm a father who loves his children. I broke up with her. I didn't want to be with her, but I love my children. I was their primary caretaker. I took care of them way more than her from birth. I was the one changing the diapers and everything. I did all of that, and this woman, in order to get me out of my house, she went and filed a restraining order, said that I harmed her. No evidence. I've never been convicted of a crime. There was never a 911 call to my home.
I understand.
On that, Mr. Lionel, when we come back from the break, I need you to tell the 50 police at your door.
Yeah.
6 in the morning, police at my doorstep.
Wow.
Right after
and I hadn't done anything.
After the break.
Attorneys get paid by the hour. The more accusations they make towards the other side, the more things they ask you to send them, the more papers they file with the courthouse, the more they earn, and the more it costs you.
Lawyers handle cases in a fairly similar fashion. They set an hourly rate, take a retainer, and then bill hourly against that retainer, and then create bills from the hours that they spent later on.
I only know, really, of one other firm in my area that does a flat fee. Everybody else is hourly. If a judge is late and you're sitting there for 3 hours, that client's getting billed for those 3 hours. I start to feel bad for them.
I have to work 25 hours to pay for 1 hour of an attorney's time. 25 to 1.
And there are no limits. When attorneys get started, they have no incentive to stop until you run out of money.
If your case is taking years and years, then that means some attorneys just putting in a lot of frivolous motions to delay the case.
In the 60s, it'd take a few months, a year. Now cases drag on 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Which is extremely expensive, as you can imagine.
You have lawyers who are in it for the money, who are greedy, who will milk the case.
The attorneys definitely don't want to settle the cases because once they do, their income stream has been cut off.
A lot of people go into debt as a result of their divorces.
Some attorneys automatically put a lien on your house just to make sure that eventually they get paid. We took out an equity line of credit at my parents' house, and that's been maxed out now. I think it's $250,000. What they do is bleed you until all the money is gone.
Since flat fee divorces can be finished quicker and cheaper, why is it that only a handful of lawyers do them? To learn more shocking truths, see Divorce Corp the movie, coming to theaters this January.
Well, shit, I'm going to go to Brazil.
Jeff.
Ise Lyfe just brought up a point that if you have back child support and you leave the country, they won't let you back in. I am announcing my tour starting in Brazil next week.
Never coming back.
Okay, I guess I'm going to be stuck over here with all this fine ass. I'm good with that.
$12 booty.
Yes. Oh, no, you don't have to pay, Louis. Well, I don't have to pay.
You were setting this up, Jeff.
Yes, sir. Something you said
you
about...
were talking about the restraining.
You going to let Jeff set you up or no?
Gonna let, yeah. Oh. Yes.
Let Jeff do his job.
Something you said about your manhood being and the footprint that you leave. I think you're looking a little myopic, if I may say. You hit the lotto. You did all right. You have a woman that doesn't hate herself enough. See, here's what happens. When a woman wants you to feel what she feels, and she will use anything. If a woman will shoot a hole in your boat, and she can't swim.
Exactly.
Your woman, but you can't feel what a woman feels because you, by nature, don't hate yourself.
Wow. You saying the
like
nature of women is to hate themselves? 855-878-4652.
Yes.
Ladies,
I'm gonna say
call
this.
in right now.
I'm gonna say this. Think about your thought. I'm gonna set up my man. Amen. Think of the ugliest dude you know. He'll get up in the morning and go, you know what? I like my tie, and he'll go conquer the day. Think of the finest woman you know. She will stand in the mirror until she finds something she hates. I hate my thumbs, and now the rest of the house is toe up over that. Speaking of that, and I'm gonna try not to be personal, but this is my friend. I was at his wedding. I have seen this man raise his children. This is my friend. And I have seen him go through that very thing with this woman. I don't know how you feel about it, so I can't really just go off like I really want to about his ex-wife, but she really ain't bovine feces. But at any rate,
bullshit?
Yeah, she owns some bovine feces.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Lionel, if you could, just kind of paint the picture of what happened that day, 6 in the morning, police at my door.
Well, the game is restraining order. I didn't know anything about it. I was like every other man in
Really
America asleep.
quickly, I got one slapped on me 5 months after the fact. So I understand.
Wow.
Go ahead, go deeper.
Well, mine was I was primary caretaker of my children, meaning taking care of them every day, doing everything that they needed. She was working in corporate America. I was at home sleep after taking my older kids to school. I wake up to yelling and screaming. I think it's some comedians that have come to my door and is in my patio playing around, because a lot of my friends are comedians. I open my bedroom door. There are 8 cops with guns pointed at me, triggers cocked, ready to shoot and kill me on full felony alert. My 3-year-old is behind me in her bed sleeping, and I open my bedroom door and they're standing there, and I have no idea why they're there. There's no incident, there's no nothing. So they're yelling at me, come down the stairs right now, turn around, walk backwards, come down the stairs. I'm like, what are y'all doing in my house? What is going on? Hey, guys, y'all got the wrong house. That's what I'm saying. I walk down the stairs slowly, following their commands. I'm telling them, lower your weapons. I'm not who you're looking for, whoever that is. I got my 3-year-old behind me. If any of the weapons go off, you can shoot my child. Lower your weapons. Shut up. Get on the floor. As soon as I get to the living room in my house, they swarm me and cuff me and do all of that. Then they try to take me outside in my underwear. I'm asking them, what have I done wrong? They don't tell me. They take me to the police station.
You're a black man. Just being a black man is doing wrong.
Okay, I guess that was number one, but it was some black men. It was some black men with them.
Black men.
You don't count.
That don't matter. Those are their black men. Black man, entertainer. 2 strikes, buddy.
So how do we turn this away from being a pity party, and how do we get?
So let me
give you this one really quickly.
Go ahead.
What women have done that men are behind the 8 ball on in this game, women are more socially savvy. They understand.
They have time to be.
Right. So what do men need to do in order to become more socially savvy as it pertains to the legal system?
Think like bitches.
But I want to tell you
Think like a woman is the new
No, that's not what I said.
Number one, we got to make better choices.
Absolutely.
Well,
I can say that. Number one, you got to make better choices, brothers.
But Darius, let me say this. My choice was to be a good father to my kids, and that's what I was doing. And I was arrested.
But I'm not talking about that's a byproduct of a bad choice by choosing the wrong woman to mother your child.
Right.
And that's what I did. That was my first mistake. Was I chose a rock gut woman to mother my child. That was my first. That led to all the bad.
Stop all the talking in the room.
Judges.
Stop all the talking in the room. Ladies and gentlemen, not yet. Ladies and gentlemen, right here on TradioV on the So What Morning Show, from henceforth and forevermore, horrible broads will be referred to as
rot guts.
Rot guts. I thought that was whiskey from a cowboy movie.
Mad Dog 2020. Listen, we have a legal representative in the building right now, Shawn Collison. You might be able to direct you might be able to direct your question to Shawn, because he's going to tell us how to interface with the judicial system. Shawn, author of, hold on, let me get this. I want out.
Okay.
It's better this way. To leave you the hell alone by Shawn Collison. I want out. It's better this way. What you need to know about managing divorce, custody, child support, and family court. We got to get him in here. So let's get your thoughts on what you've heard so far.
Well, social equity. Well, there's something I like to think. First of all, I'll address the attorneys keeping the cases going. Number one.
You know it's true.
Well, I'm going to say that is true.
Thank you.
Because as a litigation strategist, I deal with high-profile cases, and what we find is that once one of the parties that are vulnerable goes into an attorney to seek advice and guidance, that person is now under the wings of a professional that makes money off of the vulnerabilities that you believe through perception. Most of us live in...
Too deep. Dumb it down, son.
Dumb it down. So most of us live in 80% of perception and 20% of reality.
Come on.
So if you're 20%, you're already at a deficit if your reality is only 20% of what you believe and think and do. So what I've decided to do in this new book is turn that reality around. So when I speak to people as a mediator and an arbitrator and as a litigation strategist, I'm always believing in the greater good. So let me show you how to turn it around and get your life back. I don't really care where you're...
3 hot points.
Okay, number one, it's not where you're from, it's where you're going.
I was about to say, Rakim.
Right?
Okay, but where you're going?
I'm a hustler, I'm better than where... It's not where you're at. It's where you're going.
Right.
Because, number one, you need a plan.
Right.
So you have to... Number two, you have to write down your goals and what you expect to happen and set a deadline. So everything that is happening right now, it's not what's... And number three, it's not what's happening, it's how you deal with what's happening. If you don't have a how to deal with it, it just continues to happen. So in every consultation that I'm in, and I'm dealing with lawyers across the board on high-profile cases with tons of money to litigate, Gloria Allred on that divorce corp, she said litigation and fighting in court really depends on how much money you have. She was right.
Black celebrity.
She was right. Now, celebrities seem to have a different issue because they have the money to litigate. These attorneys know that, and they have sort of promoted themselves as the celebrity lawyer. I don't know about Wikipedia, but that's probably not in there.
Shawn, a divorce attorney told me this. He was just being honest and humorous. He said, my favorite clients are the ones who are angry, rich, and wrong.
Yes. Wow. I'm going to elaborate on that. But let me elaborate on that because being right is expensive.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you want to be right, usually it costs more money to be right about things in the past, and there's no contribution to being right in the future. So, if that goes back to what I just said, have a plan, then you have to think of execution. It's really connected to success.
Right.
Now, restraining orders,
right,
that is a mechanism that's rubber stamped in the court. Not enough emphasis are put on restraining orders. Reason being is it's a system that's just coming through. The judges are rubber stamping a restraining order based on the appearance of what happened. Whether it happened or not doesn't matter. But you are taken out of the game.
Err on the side of caution.
No, that's not. That's what we are led to believe. But you're taken out of the game for 21 days. You can't see your kids for 3 weeks, and you get a move out order, and they got it all on the face value. So it's prima facie. I'm not going to get into that, but the face value of that order. So when we get to court and they're coming in saying all of this happened, when I come in as a strategist, if I was with you and I heard your story and about this whole thing, I would start to believe this restraining order was a tactic, right? And the tactic is an advantage, and it was a tactic for the advantage of gaining a tactical advantage. Now, I need to quash that, get you your kids back, but you're going, that don't make no damn sense. I didn't see him for 3 weeks on some BS. I got more on that.
Darius has some points to bring up real quick. Go.
I just want to say, like, I remember growing up, there was a story in the Bible about King Solomon. He was the wisest king ever. They brought a child to King Solomon. There were two women that were fighting over this child.
Cut him in half.
He said, cut the baby in half. And the one mother said, yes, cut the baby in half. And the other mother said, no, let the baby live. And that's how Solomon realized, he said, this is the mother, the real mother of the child. The way I look at it now, the way the justice system, the way it is, these children are being cut in half, and these women are cutting these babies in half because to take the child from the father is splitting the child, because you need both mother and father. 9 times out of 10, mothers do not make rational decisions concerning their children. They make decisions. They make decisions based on what's best for them. You're going to do this because I have to pick up your sister, because I have to cook dinner, because I have to do X, Y, Z. Not because it's best for you. What's best for my child is not to be living in the ghetto of Detroit, not to be going in the Detroit school system. But his mother doesn't care anything about him. His mother cares about hurting me and hurting him and using this order that's in place and wielding it as a weapon to hurt me and make me feel what she felt.
Beware the Detroit rock gut cooch. Back in 2 minutes.
Listen, you hear the music, it means we go on the break. This is getting crazy right now. The So What Morning Show is off the chart. Let me go out to break with this. When engaging in a custody battle, why is it important to keep records, receipts, and even recordings of interactions with your child and its mother? They're making us fight each other. It's a war. We gotta be familial spies, family spies. What did your mama say to you this time? Did she say so? Why is it like that? And why is that important? When we come back, So What Morning? We gotta stay. Don't leave. We gotta come back with Darius, man. It's got to get going, man. We'll be back at 2.2.
He has a rap career is beyond me. I don't get it. And he takes his shirt off. Oh my God, he looks like 50 pounds of chewed Tootsie Rolls with his... All right. Now, you are in white fashion. You know white boys always leave the house like they're going to help somebody move. Resist and defend the horrible hoes. There are some horrible people. And what you need to do is start policing your own. Today is, in my mind, the one person that is not being addressed here. The children are being addressed, the courts, the fathers. I want to talk to young dudes. Young dudes, one, that right now your penis is the general manager. That team about to be in some trouble. Two, I want to talk to young dudes who were raised by single mothers. My Lord. The concept that your mother is beyond reproach is negated by the trifling broad that you're going to probably wind up with because you are going to pattern her after your mother. If you have any problems with these girls you dating, don't think about the girl. Don't think about your mama. I want you to think about your daddy. And maybe, just maybe, why your daddy ain't around. When y'all get into a niggas ain't shit session and how hard that your mama got it. Maybe your mama got it. You know, she telling you, I had it hard because I raised you by myself. Do you think that maybe not your mama, but maybe somebody your mama know, had it hard because she raised them kids by herself because of herself? Is there a chance that maybe, just maybe, half the shit that your mama did, she didn't have to do because that other half was supposed to be done by your daddy who was kept out the game? Put your damn hand down, Lewis Dixon.
I mean, at least I'm putting my hand up there.
When you go to court, because you going. If you following what your mama did, you going. Leave these 3 items at home. Right, wrong, and common sense. They have no place in a court of law. If you take your ass in there thinking, because they swore on that crooked Bible, that you got a chance, you better have your own snake in a bag, like the one that sits to my right. Get yourself, get your own snake. Don't be walking into a room full of snakes, quoting proverbs about how you ain't gonna get bit. You better get your monkey ass your own snake.
Wow!
I want
the intellectual rant by Jeff Brown.
Your Honor, I want to object. Strike
yes, you do.
all of that. Inadmissible.
Right. So let me just say this really quickly. Can we get a consensus here? And I'm going to go to Ise Lyfe first and then Darius. Can we get a consensus here that the institution of marriage is number one, exceedingly flawed. Mm-hmm. Number two, anti-man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Ise?
Well, I was going to make a different point, but I'll speak to that. I think we get married, people get married under the same archaic construct, in the early 1900s, know. So
yeah.
And it was to the benefit of men. It wasn't built to benefit women. But no.
Not then.
You're talking about divorce. But the marriage piece gave power to men, gave dominion. Well, a woman is passed from her father on to her man. But I have to talk about the socio-political construct. We can't, especially, and this show is for a vast audience. We talk about a black construct, though. Part of the issue is when we start talking about divorce, when we start talking about court, we also talking about police. We also talking about racism, the stigma and so there's an annoyance.
Sexism, racism, classism.
Of course. So there's an annoyance of a upwardly upright, righteous, confident black man. That annoys the state. So when you walk in there, like I said, with confidence, with common sense, with the right thing, there's a racial thing in there, and also another piece. And I'm not saying I'm against it, but I hear a lot of brothers talking about I want a light skinned girl, a white girl, a snow bunny. You get in that court, that's a snow bunny court.
That's a snow bunny.
It's a whole
nobody right there. She cheated.
Life. I'm gonna tell you something. When I walked into the courtroom and I saw all of those people, because I'm you people.
Yeah.
I saw all of those people. I knew that it was all downhill from that point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. It was so bad at one point. I brought some clothes to the courthouse to give to my son's mother. She took the clothes and threw them in the garbage can.
Wow.
I said, why would you throw those brand new clothes away when they could be on our son's back? She said, because I don't want to have anything to do with you. I said, but how does that translate to what my son wants?
It has nothing to do with you.
Then
I'm shooting a hole in the boat.
But then after I reached in the garbage can, with no pride, reached into the garbage can to give her those clothes, she left out and went and called those white bailiffs on me in the courtroom.
Yeah.
And they coming.
And
It's
funny. I mean, and I agree to some point, but the black and white thing, it's really X and XY chromosome. Because, as black men, white men are going through the same thing when they go into court.
They are.
And we just
have in their house and taking them in front of their daughter and they draws at gunpoint.
Yeah, well, no. I'm sure.
You sure you can dig? I'm sure you can find it.
Hold up. I'm sure there are examples that you can get a panel of white men to sit around and talk just as bad about the women. My thing is this: life is flawed. Life is anti-man. I mean, if we as men can just step back and say, all right, if your foundation is love, it's going to work itself out. Regardless of how low the woman she can be, gut low and all that, you as a man have to you have to walk through life as best you can and deal with the ups and downs.
I had a quick question.
Quick
question.
Yeah.
It sounds like, and I can't tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you what it looked like. It looked like you are either telling me it doesn't exist or it is diminished. The racial component.
No, I'm not saying. What I'm saying
either one of those?
What it is.
Oh,
but what I'm saying is
because
that
for a second there,
but you can't,
just like the misogynist agenda.
But you can't make it part of who you are as a man.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, you can't allow that to help you walk through life. Here's one thing: as a father, you have to be is present. You can be present
if they
in
would
the
let
stand.
us be present.
You can
If
be
they
present.
would let
Okay, I
us be
understand, but
present.
seriously, sometimes
I
you have
want to be present, and if my children are listening, your father loves you, and I will never
Okay,
stop
but
fighting
see,
for
here's the
you.
thing,
I am being kept away from you by a crooked system, a corrupt lawyer, and a woman who is crying to this crooked system to fight. You are putting efforts in to keep a father who loves and adores his 3 babies from his children. It is a waste of time
But
and
here's the thing.
energy.
And that's what I'm saying. The energy and stuff that you're putting out now, all that hate is what your kids are.
I don't have hate. There's no hate. There's no hate. There's no hate. There's no hate. Let's stop that immediately. There's no hate. There's no hate here at all.
What he's putting
The white
out,
man has something to say.
What he's putting out is frustration at being hated.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you.
Yes.
And another thing is, how do you think your kids are feeling that?
I haven't seen my kids, so how can they feel anything from me? I haven't seen them. I haven't been allowed to.
Hold on. So I want to say one thing to the brother speaking, and he is acting. It is frustration. It's a buildup. He does have a right to stand on what he is going through, and he believes what's happening to him. Ultimately, when I was in your shoes. What I needed to start to understand, and what I understand about today, never give up. It's non-negotiable.
I'm not giving
Yes,
up.
I didn't say you were. I just said never do. If you don't ever even think about it, it's never a waste of time. It's never a waste of time because the universe.
What they're doing is a waste of time.
But the universe has a way of showing us what we need to know right now, showing you now. So let me just say this. When I was going through my case in 1999, before I knew anything about law, I was walking down the hallway with my attorney and opposing counsel, because I heard y'all talking about it earlier, was walking down the other way. And it was Michael Trope. He's a big-time dude. He was with Sorrow Trope. It's his son. Do you know what I did?
What?
I walked straight at him. Hold on, Jeff, because I'm going to lock it down. I walked straight down Central, down the hallway. You know, it's the corridor. When I saw him, I walked into him with my shoulder, and bam! And I knocked him down. When he got up to do whatever he was going to do, I fell down like he hit me. I'm tripping. I'm not being one thing. One thing the universe was telling me, until you are culpable, until you get responsible about what's really going down, I'm not releasing anything to you.
Well, Shawn,
Hold on.
Go ahead. Because I have to.
So I stepped into 10 years of well, it took me 5 in court, but the other 5 was figuring out when I finally figured out why it's not being released. There's a universal cause and effect that is playing a part. And Lewis is trying to say that in so many words.
Absolutely.
And what I'm saying to you is you are noble in your cause. No one can take that away from you.
And the universe is going to pay that
and
back.
it is going to give you double for your trouble. When they sent me to 52 weeks of anger management, I didn't complain. I walked in and did it. Now, let me tell you what happened after the 52 weeks. I became an intern for the next rotation of probations that came in there. Because when they put the restraining order on me, one thing I realized when they did the jury and was going to hold me down, what I realized, God knows I had nothing to do with this. How am I going to convict myself when I ain't had nothing to do with it? So I stayed in. The jury got deadlocked and acquitted, and I was out of there. So what I believed in a higher cause, a higher power. Eventually, I prevailed. Today, I have an 800 FICO score.
Let me just say this. This show is off the chart. There's some passions in here. My brother Evan is going through hell. Hold on. You gonna make them too.
I'm gonna help
as
you,
well
Evan.
as Darius. Listen, you ain't leaving. Boxing in. We got to take this quick break, but when we come back, we're gonna wrap it up. It's important that we have this conversation. Don't be scared. We'll be back.
African American children are more likely to have an incarcerated father, and their mothers are less likely to take them to visit their fathers. Now listen to me, mamas and dads. But because there's more black men in jail, but the sisters are catching up. Listen to me. Some of y'all got this belief that if my son goes sees his father in jail, that's going to make him a criminal. It's going to desensitize him to jail. Guess what? The evidence is actually the opposite. A child of an incarcerated father is 7 to 9 times more likely himself to end up in jail. So if you take him to see his father, his father will teach him how this ain't the place to be. And I don't ever want to see you here. Some of you all are sowing the seeds of juvenile delinquency because you got a son who ain't connected with the dad, who thinking jail life is all that because you don't allow his father to teach him that it ain't. And sooner or later, he ends up in the exact same place you never wanted him to be just because you didn't think it was necessary to take him up to the jail. I'm working on a project right now, Grateford Prison, Pennsylvania, one of the largest maximum security prisons in America. Myself, state representative, and some other folk. We have a FACT program. Okay, it's a fatherhood program where we take the children up to the jail to visit the fathers if the mothers don't want to be bothered. That's what we're doing. Because fathers still need to be fathers even in jail. Do y'all follow me? So I got to call parents and convince them that your son needs to see his father, that your daughter needs to see her father. And some of us are so trifling that we think our children are going to develop just like we do. I hear things like, well, I grew up without my dad and I turned out all right. No, the hell you didn't, because if you did, you wouldn't be stopping your child from going to see this.
Kidding me? You just have a hard time handling a strong woman. I really hate to burst your bubble, princess, but here's a tip for you. Strength of character, strength of purpose, and strength of conviction are highly desirable attributes in a woman. But without those qualifiers, strength is nothing more than an empty term used to justify bitchy behavior.
What's wrong with you? Your mother must have done a terrible job raising you to respect independent women.
Okay, Miss Independent Woman who doesn't need a man, but is more desperate than a goldfish in a leaky bag. Tell me what a perfect marriage looks like to you.
A good man who is dedicated and loyal. And me, his wife, who is equally dedicated to our marriage and our children.
What the hell is going on? The Zoe Up Morning Show is off the rails right now. Listen, it's important that we cover this. Evan,
real quick, I just want to say this. They were talking about in jail. I have done nothing wrong. I haven't committed any crimes. I do not have a criminal background. I don't have any felonies, any warrants, anything concerning disobeying the law, except for this situation with family court. But Shawn, they are trying to make a case against me. Right now, they're trying to hold me in contempt and put me in jail. And since the beginning of this, she has been bringing my children to the police station, trying to force me to see them. And now the judge has taken away my any way of seeing or speaking to them. Judge Keeney in Van Nuys. She has, yes, you actually did my divorce. You wrote my divorce for me and did it and came to court, and you know the mess I'm in, and I told you I needed your help, and I texted you several times just on the principle of right. You needed $10,000. I didn't have that at the time. Your firm needed $10,000. Everybody that I go to needs $10,000. That does not change the fact that my children are suffering because the father that they adore is being kept away from them. I'm not allowed minors counsel. The judge's reason for that is I just don't feel it's necessary. I just got one now. After 2 years, you don't feel minors count. Your answer for not granting me minors counsel, which is my right, is you don't feel it's necessary. I needed a professional evaluator for my children. I don't feel that's necessary. What is happening is this attorney is spearheading this corrupt system and telling my ex everything to do within the law to keep me from seeing my three beautiful babies. And that is my one objective. And I want to say this to Lewis. I am not angry at her. I have no feelings towards her. I am disturbed with the court system and how they keep fathers away from the children. And they know what's going on. Yes, I speak with passion because I love my children and I respect fathers who stand up and fight for their children, whether they have money or not. And Shawn, that's not a dig against you because you did help me. But the divorce that you helped me do, this crooked lawyer, you filed it downtown. The crooked lawyer had it brought to Van Nuys, even though we served him first, and even though we followed the law, it was still brought to Van Nuys. after we filed it downtown. I'm going to say this last thing, then I'm done. I want for anyone who is out there, my name is Evan Lionel. If you are in position of authority, I want you to investigate my case at the Van Nuys Courthouse. I want you to open up my entire case. I have nothing to hide. I have written to Senator Boxer. I have written to Senator Feinstein, the governor. I've written to the president. I ask any of you, I challenge any of you to come to the Van Nuys Courthouse and open up my case and investigate it.
Wow, Dr. G had a quick question for Evan and Darius and Lewis.
I have a question for everyone, because I was just thinking that if I was here with Gloria Allred and a bunch of women, they'd all be reacting. So I think what's happening is human reason is being held hostage by animal nature here. And so what's happening is I don't think you can get a fair trial as long as frustration, legitimate frustration, is seen as anger.
Yes.
And the world's going to
go into that. Go into that.
I think if the world sees you as angry, what happens is you trigger in them, oh, this is the enemy, we got to shut them down. They don't see you as legitimately frustrated. So I have a challenge to everyone here, because when you're seeing red, you can't listen. I wrote a whole book on it. So if you were a group of women or a group of men and you're reactive,
it would be okay to be.
No, let me ask you. What would I or what would someone else need to do so that you could listen past your reactivity? Because as long as people
let me see my children. That's what you can do. Let me see my children and stop working actively to keep them away from me.
But Evan, what he just said, you are just manifesting what he just said. You are reactionary. You're mad. And deservedly,
who wouldn't be?
Listen,
you talked about your son earlier. Suppose you couldn't speak to your son. Suppose you couldn't speak to your son.
Hold on.
You talked about him earlier, correct?
Hold on.
Okay,
hold on. Let me deal with it. Hold on. Nobody is upset with you, and we want you to have what you want. And that's why
I want to see my kids.
Cut his microphone. Follow the rules here. All we're saying is, like the doc is saying, bro, the way you present yourself creates the barrier. That's all he's saying. That's actually good advice. That's actually good advice for you. So you don't need to show us your rage.
There's no rage here.
But that's how we're perceiving it.
And that's the way you're perceiving it.
So all I'm saying is you have an opportunity to get your point across in this forum. All I'm asking you to do is respect what's being said. We're offering you something. We're not attacking you. That was a great point that the doc made, correct? Finish the thought, Doc.
Evan, here's your choice. Here's all of our choice. You're expressing the rage that anyone would feel when they are feeling rendered powerless by a system that will not listen to them. So I understand that. I feel it. I can feel it right next to you. I feel just the rage of powerlessness that anyone would feel. But if the choice is to present yourself in a way that people only see the illegitimate rage and not the legitimate frustration, they're going to react in a certain way, so the legitimacy of your point is lost. What I say to people is if you have a legitimate point, you have a responsibility to communicating it in a way so it gets heard. Otherwise, if you don't have a legitimate point, then just rage, but you have a legitimate point. You got to honor it by communicating in a way that gives it a chance to be heard.
So really
I've done that in court. I did that in court.
Really quickly.
Talk nicely, and they have ignored me for 2 years.
Understood. Really quickly, say your point, and then Darius has to leave. He has something to tell us all before he leaves.
My point is, what's important is, as a man, if you express love, it really comes out quietly and nice. You just have to find that, the way you would talk to your kids is the way you actually have to find a way to talk to that woman. You have to, and it really disarms them.
I don't know if quietly or nice. I think authentic is what you're saying. And this is Darius.
Talk to her.
And this is Darius before he leaves.
I'm going to say this. I took that approach, and I take that approach. The way that I'm talking right now is the way that I've talked on the stand. Is the way that I've talked to my child's mother. I have some questions concerning his behavior and the way that they discipline him. I've asked her, can we talk about it over the phone? I don't want to talk to you because I'm interested in you. I want to talk to you because I'm interested in what is happening to our child. He tested in the upper extreme genius level. The boy was reading before at 1.5, if that old. Okay? Yes. So I'm concerned because I don't want him to digress. Okay? What I'm doing now is I've decided I don't even want to be an entertainer anymore.
I am starting classes and courses as a spiritual practitioner, because what I'm going to do is I'm trying to put together a movement for brothers spiritually, so that we can handle this through spirit, because the physical is what's put us in this position. So I hear what you're saying, but I understand what you are saying,
Absolutely.
Evan, because this system is not geared for us. It has nothing to do with us. And when you can understand that, then you can understand the enemy that you're fighting. If you get into a ring and there's a boxer with a loaded glove and you don't know he has a horseshoe in his glove, then you don't know how to defend yourself. So you have to understand that there's a misogynistic agenda beneath the population control agenda that has nothing to do with us. That was started back when women started bra burning. Okay, and it had nothing to do with making women independent and making them equal. It had to do with taxable income. So you have to understand what you're dealing with when in this courtroom, and you have to go in spiritually to deal with it.
And let me just say one thing.
Go ahead,
Evan,
because we got to go to
I feel
break.
like it's necessary. I feel you.
30
Doc
seconds.
is right. Lewis is right. Your passion, when I said we live in 80% of perception and 90% of reality, your passion is coming off in the perception equity of what you're doing.
That's what it is.
So what has to happen is whatever you're doing, and you said, I tried this, I tried that. You can't try anything in life.
You just got to do it or you don't. Yeah.
So your conviction for the kids, I feel it. I'm going to help you turn it around. Shawn Collison is going to bring in resources.
He's on your team.
All right? We ended up here today not by mistake. I was not really coming. Zoe told me yesterday, and I rearranged my schedule. There's a reason I'm in the room.
Right, and we with you.
And we all need to help you, but when you're telling your story,
let me do
like
this.
A bull.
Listen,
You're scary to people.
Listen, let me do this. And let me just be honest with you. We did this topic for you. This wasn't on our calendar. I got fans saying, oh, y'all did a topic like that recently. We did this for you. You feel me? So just understand, when you come here with the rage, I'm not against it. But at the same time, I don't want people to see like, oh, something's wrong with him. Because that's how people perceive it. You feel me? I got nothing but love for you, and I'm the same way you are. Passionate to the motherfucker. But listen, we got to take a quick break, and when we come back, you can be that. We'll be back.
Hi, my name is Kara O, and I am dating and relationship coach, and have written several books on men and how to create more love in your life. And today I wanted to offer a lesson on how to castrate a man. You may wonder, why would you want to do that? Well, probably the primary reason would be to get him out of your life, because that is the best way to get rid of a man. I'm really being facetious here. I don't want you to castrate men. I don't want you to emasculate men. Not if you want to be loved and cherished and adored. That is definitely not the way to do it. But women do it, I think, unknowingly all the time. There are 3 ways that I will talk about today that women castrate men. They emasculate men. One is to compare him unfavorably to other men. That's not going to get you anywhere. That's certainly not going to motivate him. What it will do is make him feel less of a man, which then you start seeing him as less of a man, and it spirals down from there. Sure, there are men that are more successful. There are men that have more money. There are men that have nicer houses, nicer cars, nicer wardrobes. But if this is your man, why would you want to make him feel awful? Because it really does. Another way that women emasculate men, castrate men, is to make fun of them. One way we do that is with the eye roll. Oh my God. And the tease.
Again, I'm not trying to make excuses for men. Men have to change. Women have to change. It's a corrupt system. We're back. Bobby Glanton has joined the show. He's been listening, and I'm really disappointed that my first off, Linda Jones, she don't ever want me to mention her name on camera. She's our publicist and one of the producers of the show. Normally she's in here filming, what we're doing. But my guy who actually films it, his name is Chris, crispygraphics.com. He does all of the graphic works for what we do. crispygraphics.com. He's normally here filming the Between the Breaks. And what we just experienced between the breaks was Shawn Collison looking over all of the legal files from my brother Evan. And Shawn is not playing. He's going back, you know, Evan on his case. And I appreciate you for extending that help to him, because a lot of us brothers are not socially savvy when it comes to this legal machine. A lot of us don't trust cops, we don't trust doctors, we definitely don't trust lawyers, so we have this aversion to interfacing with the system. So, you know, I'm saying this to Shawn, I appreciate Shawn for extending that to Evan, because Evan clearly loves his kids. Doc, and then I want to bring in Bobby.
Okay, I'm gonna. I was listening to what I think Evan is feeling underneath, and Shawn, I want you to listen to this and tell me how you think this would come across to perception. Because I'm sitting next to him, what I feel Evan wants to say, but he's too passionate, is I hate how much I love my children and that I'm being kept from them for no good reason, and I don't trust the world enough to let the world see how much it's devastating me, hurting me, and eating me up, and that's where I'm coming from.
But I do think he's showing the world how much is hurting him, though.
No, he's not.
I think so.
No, he isn't.
What is he not doing? What does he need to show?
Shawn,
what does he need to show, Shawn?
What he's showing the world is that when he doesn't get his way, or how he perceives it should go, he should act out and scream at the microphone in front of 8 people who have nothing to do with it. There's a level of culpability. Evan has to take some responsibility in the game, come to a present state and say, you know what? I do agree with what the doc is saying. I do see red. I do project.
Yes.
We know the system is broken. We are not here to fix the system. We're not here to do that. We're trying to get Evan back into a normalcy with his children.
So he can interface.
So he can be a part of their life in a quality capacity. Now, what the court has viewed it as, they don't trust him.
He's volatile.
The children.
Based on what, though?
It doesn't have to be based on
There's
anything.
no
So listen.
The only thing it has to be based on, Evan,
is perception.
Is appearance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, Bobby is here. Bobby hasn't spoken.
We're trying
hold
to
on.
Hold on.
Don't make me cut everybody.
15 seconds. We're here trying to get Evan heard by the system instead of reacted to by the system. That's all
really quickly, great point. Trying to get him heard by the system instead of reacting to the system. Great point, Dr. Goulston. Bobby, really quickly.
Well, it's about the law. What does the law say? This man has rights that have been abridged. It doesn't matter whether he's emotional or not. They have
yes, it does.
They have superseded his rights as a citizen of the United States and as someone who they don't have legitimate reason to keep from his kid. The man said...
But wait, can I say this really quickly? I'm going to let you finish. Just let me say this. What you just said is partially true and partially incorrect, because the family court system is really unconstitutional. There's no jury. The judge is all powerful.
Let me just jump in here real quick.
Go ahead.
Because I think there's been a misconception of what family court is. And
it's an equity court, right?
It's a court of equity, not law.
Right. No law.
You have been hoodwinked if you think he has rights.
He doesn't.
Well, hang on.
Not in a court. Not in family court.
Not in family court. Family court is not a civil jurisdiction. It's a court of equity. And what they believe... Hold on.
Let him finish.
He ain't got no equity because he's...
Let him finish.
Hang on, because he is... He's equity poor because his appearance is getting him a zero equity.
Ooh, go ahead, Ice. Go ahead, Ice, and back to Bobby. Bobby, give him his pace.
I hear that. There's an important perception thing I have, and there has to be a split in that. That there's a thing that we look at what the law is and what the state is and what our concern is of that. But I believe it's important that we have compassion and be empathetic towards this. that brothers, and when the brothers stand up, how tall are you, brother?
6'2".
The brother's 6'2".
Imposing.
The brother's passionate. And we are constant. When you say 2 years, we talking about over 600 days. I'm sure his moments has been nice. He's been maybe even docile. It is torturous how we are often forced to mute ourselves when we have a legitimate peace. And not only is it torturous, it's toxic. It's cancerous.
Been making
it puts illness in our lives. So I hear what we saying when we talking about the legal piece.
And
but I think it's important to hone the fact that brothers are forced to mute themselves when they are being absolutely attacked and treated unjustly.
Bobby, you got 30 seconds. Make the point, and then I got to go to our guest.
The point is real simple. If we're speaking of equity, he has rights as a human being. And the fact that he hasn't abused his kids, he has taken care of his kids. Yes, it's not a court in this land that should support this man being unable to deal with his children.
And Bobby is right. However, the system is not a human, and it is not a respecter of humans.
Absolutely.
So let me go to this. We've got Dean Tong on the phone. Dean Tong is an American author, public speaker, consultant, and trial expert in the field of false child abuse allegations. Dean, I know you've been listening. It's been passionate. It's fiery. What do you have to offer in 3 minutes or less? Go deeper.
Well, thanks for having me. You guys are partly right. We're talking about a court that has subjective discretion, a court that has to rule by preponderance of evidence, 51%, and a court that has to rule in the child's best interest. So if the court's going to make a mistake, it's not going to be on the man's side, it's not going to be on the woman's side, it's going to be on the kid's side. That said, a court can oftentimes err on the side of caution, on the side of the child.
Wow.
So, you're right about perception. It's all about the four-letter word risk. And a judge in family court, I don't care if it's Michigan, California, my state of Florida, that judge is not going to take the risk. So what do? As an expert, I make sure my guy's clean. I have to run my guy through a risk assessment, a psychological battery test that shows and proves he's not the monster he's been painted to be.
Wow.
That requires experts. That requires money. Family court is one court. You're not going to get free stuff. No free lawyer, no free experts. You get as much justice as you can afford.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for hanging on. But did you hear what he just said?
I did, but you're saying when you can't afford it, you just walk away from your kids? Because many men do. They just walk away from their kids.
He didn't say that. He didn't say it.
My website is abuse-excuse.com. Let's hope to God none of your listeners wind up bouncing into my website, because that means you've been accused of physical or sexual child abuse, Michael Jackson type stuff. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Dean,
I never said walk away. I'm a dad advocate. I'm a parents' rights advocate.
Hey, Dean, check it out. This is Zoe really quickly. Let me ask you this. How often, or what is the percentage of false allegations of child abuse in custody battles and divorce battles? What are the percentages of those numbers that turn out to be false? What is that?
Well, false is bad faith, malice aforethought, premeditation. Those numbers are very, very few, 2 to 5%. Unfounded, without foundation, without basis, without substance, those numbers are 65 to 70%. 2/3 of all cases are unfounded.
Wow.
May I ask?
And go to him.
What is the difference between unfounded and premeditated? Because the heifers I have dealt with thought about the bovine feces they brought to the judge beforehand. It didn't pop, and the light didn't go off in their head when they saw the robe. They thought about it the night before. Ain't that premeditation?
The difference is the heifer who's falsely accusing you did so in bad faith, picked up the phone, I'm going to ruin your life. The heifer who unfounded allegation by Child Protective Services, that heifer was a protective mother. She didn't do it to ruin your life. She really thought the kid was being abused. It was the system who didn't find any evidence to support her allegation, so therefore it could be negligence on the part of the system. Remember, in family court and in juvenile court, where you could lose your parental rights, the government gets involved, and in a lot of those cases, the experts get involved. The court appoints fiduciaries, psychologists.
That's exactly what didn't happen.
Minors Council, as it's court called in California.
Lewis Dix has a comment he wants to make.
It's interesting. We all sit around and talk about being a man and this and what we're going through, which is, I respect everyone saying that. But when we look at our ancestors and what they went through as far as having their children taken away from them their whole life. Slavery. And so we as men just have to keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, especially if you're going to take the role on as a father, a husband, an ex-husband. You have to dig deeper as a man, meaning some things you're going to have to deal with and keep dealing with and keep dealing with until the light, because that's
going to kill you, though.
That's
going to kill you.
No, what I'm saying is,
I'm telling you that right now. That's going to kill you, Lewis.
If you let it kill you. But if you keep walking, just like you're teaching your son, if you keep walking and walking like you're teaching, you're giving him certain books to read. Right. You're teaching him how to deal with certain things as a man. You're going to have to teach him to deal with love, hate, a girl breaking your heart. It's certain things you have to teach him how to deal with it. And if you as the father have to just keep teaching, and you have to keep learning yourself how to deal with it.
Can't teach them if you're not seeing them. You can't teach them anything.
Well, I understand you can.
If you're not allowed to speak to them, you cannot teach them anything.
Well, they learn a lot in silence, too. They learn a lot in silence.
Okay, so listen, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, final thought. Man, cold show. Cold show. We'll be back in 2.2. Listen, this is a very passionate show, and we like to do these types of shows because, again, I tell you guys, I preface this by saying we don't have all of the answers. We don't. But we have to have these types of probing and engaging conversations in order to inspire others to do the research and the work for themselves. With that said, the words silent and listen both have the same letters. Sometimes you have to be silent in order to take in information. It's hard to take in information when you're already projecting an outcome. Sometimes you have to be silent and move your preconceived ideas and notions to the side so you can have some objectivity. Secondly, if you have a lawyer, understand that a lawyer is an officer of the court, and ultimately his job is to serve the court, even though he represents you. The judge, if he wants to ramrod you, can tell that lawyer, I don't give a fuck who you represent us. You're on our team. You're not on his team. Now, legally speaking, whenever you have a lawyer, this is going somewhere, speak for you. You are legally considered an infant because you can't speak for yourself. You're legally considered incompetent. That's just the fucking truth. This is the way this system works. Number two, if you need, or in the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, you look up the word that the judge sits on is called a bench. The legal word for what he sits on the bench is Latin, bank. This is a system of commerce. This is a system of business. He sits on the bank. That's why he just told you it's an equity court. This ain't got shit to do with laws. I had a lawyer tell me it's not about the truth. It's about the picture we paint. And if I can paint you as a villain, you've lost. That's what this, it ain't about the truth. It's not about the law. It's about what picture, which, does the defense paint a better picture or does the prosecution paint a better picture? This is a hustle. Number 3, justice built on an evil foundation can never be called justice. This whole system is evil. You're not even people to the system. You're numbers. That's all it is. Number 2, the government has become exceedingly proficient at litigating our social ignorance. When you don't know the fucking laws, ignorance is no excuse of the law. I'm here to take advantage of your dumb ass. That's the system. That's why there is a one-way street leading out of the back of schools into the front door of prison. You drop out, I got you. I'm going to make money anyway. That's our system. It's unfortunate, but that's our system. I'm Zoe Williams, and that's my final thought. Really quickly, I want to thank everybody for being here. Lewis Dix, You know I love you.
Thank you for loving me.
I appreciate you. You are a mentor of mine. You my brother. Anytime I can have you on this show, I am blessed. Ise Lyfe, I appreciate you as well. Where can people find you?
They can find me at iselyfe.com or on Twitter or Instagram and all that. My handle is at Iselyfe. That's ISELYFE.
Lewis, where can they find you really quickly?
Oh, at LEWDIX. And I'll be at the what is the Laugh Factory?
The Laugh Factory.
Sunday. I'll be there Sunday.
Lewis, can I get tickets?
Yeah, sure.
Put me on the list. I'll come see you.
Okay, cool. 8:30 show.
There we go. Evan Lionel, comedian, man. They didn't see your funny side today, and I understand.
No,
Tell us, man. Where can they find you?
They can see it tonight at the J Spot if they want to see me being funny. I have a petition at gopetition.com. It's petitions. Allow Evan Lionel to be a father to his children. You can hit me on Facebook. Please go to my Facebook. It's a Father's Rights, Support Father's Rights site on Facebook.
Absolutely.
And Evan Lionel on Facebook, also on Twitter. Please contact me and sign my petition. And I miss my children and I love you all. And Dad will never stop fighting.
There you go. Dr. G.
Check out Just Listen at Amazon.com. I think it's a good read. We all need to listen better. Or you can check me out at markgoulston.com.
Wow, excellent. G.
GB. I'm going to be at Manchester and La Brea selling incense and pit bull puppies out the back of my car.
And pop locking.
Yeah, pop
my brother.
ShawnCollison.com. Also follow me on Twitter, Shawn Collison. My latest book, I Want Out, it does explain that the family court system is the court of equity and not the law. Don't get it twisted. Thank you for having me.
There we go. And Bobby.
You can give me a Twitter at Glanton-Smith or my website, www.realmendon'tplay.com.
Yo, Zoe Williams, at Mr. Zoe What on Instagram, at Zoe Williams on Twitter. Go to blackmastery.com and get that neurolinguistic program I've been telling you about for the longest. Go to Ramo Mart. Please, please, please support all of the movements that we have here. I am Zoe Williams. Pick up my book. I promise I'll sign it. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back next week with another flamer. Deuces.